hopefully I'm going to continue throughout the day. I've been trying to download it and post it, but it keeps breaking the connection. And unfortunately, the video has to be played in full before I can post it. So I'll do my best to get that up later on this evening. The other thing is I wanted to talk about building our business and start focusing on that to make sure everybody's getting the help they need to make it happen as quickly as possible, and that we're focusing and staying in the area that we're most excited about the business. I'll come back to that. Before I get into that, some people asked me about the document that we shared last week, I believe, from Sierra, going through that deal. And I will be able to share that. I just need to converse with some people to make sure that that's something that they're okay with. I know it's taught in the class. I know it's not on the on-demand, and I'm not worried about the document itself, or sharing it with you. I just want to make sure it's something that Tim wants to do because he teaches that class, the lease option class. But what I was thinking actually is, since Sierra took the class and has gone through it, so I'm kind of springing this on Sierra right now. I'm wondering if maybe Sierra wants to walk through one of her deals, not this week, but maybe next week, walk through one of her deals through the sheet, explaining it and sharing it with the group. What do you think, Sierra? You want to do something like that? Yeah, I think that'd be fun, actually, to make sure that we understand. And I'll be here to make sure if there's any problems or challenges to help out. And yeah, I think it'd be fun and help out there. Maybe we can look at that as something, as an exercise we can do from time to time, is get one of you to host one of these webinars and share some of the information you've learned. And maybe it would be great to share a deal, walking through that deal, your own deal. So other people can see what you're doing and better understand it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So we'll see if we can set that up maybe in the coming weeks here. Yeah, that'd be great, Marina. Great. Yeah, we'll work on that as a group. The other thing I want to quickly talk about Vancouver. I know some of you are going to Vancouver. I just want to mention that I'd like to set up a dinner in Vancouver with all of us. Those of you that are able to make it. It'd be great if we all could, but unfortunately we can't. But for those of you who do make it, set up a dinner and get together. I'm not sure if what day will be the best day, the Friday or Saturday or Sunday. So we'll see. I'm thinking might be best Friday. Sunday evening might be tough for people who are leaving Sunday. So I don't know. We'll have to work that out. But when you get to the symposium, maybe somebody can talk to everybody of the group and see what we can do in the way of setting something up where all of us can go together. Sam, what do you feel about creating a WhatsApp group for the symposium? Make it easy to coordinate. Yeah, sure, Maria. That's good. Let's do it. Yeah, Vince. Yeah. I mean, there'll be another one in Toronto in the coming months when we do one in Toronto next. I'm pretty sure Toronto will be the next one. That'll make it easy for a lot of people to be able to go there, and if people can travel to the Toronto one, that'd be awesome too. So we'll definitely do that, Vince, when we get to the Toronto one. Most days you're probably running till between, I would say, 5 and 6. I have, yeah, that's great, Marina. I appreciate that. Oh, that's great, Justin. Jamie, that's good. Let's see if we can take advantage of that. That's cool. Okay. Okay, so Marina, you set that up. Everybody join up that can do that, and we'll get something arranged. I have a series of meetings when I get there because of some of the individuals that are going to be at the event. Our CEO will be there from the UK, and the gentleman that runs the UK office, and the CEO that runs the company, I believe are going to be there. So you might actually meet them or see them. But I have some meetings set up with them, and I'm just trying to make sure that we have an opportunity to get together, since we're all together. A group of us at least are there. So let's do this. Okay, first I'll open it up to questions. Well, first I'll ask Sierra. Sierra asked me a question. Why don't I do that? Sierra asked me a question. She ran some numbers on a rental, and the numbers were a little bit different when she calculated online. And I think, Sierra, what's happened is it's a question of whether we're calculating average per year, or compound or annualized return. Does everybody remember going through that last week? We can do it again. Let's do this. Let's do share whiteboard. Okay. All right. So just a quick review. So average per year equals, so that is calculated this way. So we go income divided by investment divided by number of years. So let's do that together and make sure that's right. Okay, so let's look at your investment was 100,000. You made 200,000, and it was over 4 years. What would that be? So it'd be 200 divided by 100, which is how much? Yeah, that's what the sheet calculates. Exactly. This calculates this. Right? It says, okay, invested 100,000, you made 130,000, or whatever you made, right? So if we made 200,000, right, we make 200% divided by 4, that would be a 50% return, right? Average per year, right? That's the way it's calculated. Does everybody understand this? Any questions about that? This is profit, right? This is profit. Total profit. Any questions about that? You understand that? Okay. So I'm gonna do now compound interest, which does this. So compound interest says, okay, you started with 100K. Now the calculation is a little different, right? But I started out with 100K. I might have ended up with 300K. Okay. What this does is it goes year by year. So year 1, year 2, year 3. That's how it does it. And what it does, even though, let me change this to 200,000, like the other one. So what this does is it says, hey, you invested 100K, you ended up with 200K. Well, 300K would be the actual number. Let's go back. I'm going to get you confused here. So it looks at the total number of what you have from the investment. So let's do this. Let's do this again. Okay, so we have 100K start. We end up with 300K. Now, yes, we made 200K, but what this does, it looks at per year, what did you do? So 100K, I go 100. In the first year I did 100K, I had 100K. Then my investment that money turned into 125. And then it turned into 150. Then it turned into, 180. Okay? What this does is what it's doing is it's saying, okay, if you started here and you ended here, how much did you make per year? And it's looking at one number. So let's say I didn't do a very good job on the calculation there, but it's around 25% per year. Okay, but it assumes this: you've taken this amount and you've increased it by 25%. Then you've increased this new amount by 25%, and that's how you get this. Then you've increased this new amount, and that's the new number. So it's looking at an annualized, compound interest return. That's how it gets its number. So they're not the same thing, because I could do this. And this is unfortunately what happens with a lot of mutual funds or investments calculated by our financial industry. And it's not a slight against them, it's just the way it's done. So if you have 100K, and in your first year you lost 50K, okay? Your percentage, average return would be negative 50%. Everybody see that? Okay. Now, if I started with, so my 1,000 now is, I've lost 500, I've lost 50% of my return, Oops. Okay. So now, 100K equals minus 500, 50% I've lost. This is year one. Year two, I now have 500, and I have increased it by 500%, right? Sorry, by $500, and now it's $1,000, right? Now, what does it say? What does that increase? Well, that increase, right? It increased, 100%. What they do is they say, oh, okay, we take this return and this return, and we add them together, and then we divide them by 2, because that's 2 years. And that gives us the return. Well, what that's going to do is tell you what? You have the same amount of money, but it's going to say your average return is what? What's it going to say your average return is? Yeah, that's right. So that's a problem. 25%, that's a problem. So average returns, from a more sophisticated investor might not be what they want to see, average yearly return. They want to see maybe an annualized return, but there's nothing wrong with average return, but they might want to see an annualized return. At the end of the day, the beginning and end of an investment, however you calculate it, at the end of the day, the investor wants to know, am I making money, and how much have I increased my money over that period? Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Does anybody have any questions about that? We good? Okay, those are easy. Okay, so see if there's anybody that has any questions. Okay, so before I get into the business part of it, does anybody have any other questions they want to talk about? Not sure what we're doing. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean by that. Not sure what we're doing. Do you mean what we're covering right now? We were just looking at annualized return versus like a compound interest return versus average return. Did you just get in the call? That's what happened? Aline, did you just get in the call? Is that what you mean? You didn't see the beginning of that? So Sierra, with regards to wholesaling a rent-to-own, how much can we charge as a wholesaler fee? I think that, obviously you can charge whatever you want, and the market will tell you if it accepts it or if it's worth it. I think that what you want to do is you want to leave, the bulk of the return. Too tough to say, Sierra, because the profit of the deal really determines that, right? If the profit in the deal, say, is 100K, what's fair? If the whole deal is going to make them 100K, can I charge 10K? Can I charge 20K? Can I charge 50K? Well, we have to be realistic, because as the wholesaler, we're not taking the risk. We're passing on that risk, which is fine. The risk of the deal, but the deal is put together. There should be something for that. So I think that the bulk of the money should remain with the end user and investor. As a wholesaler, it's great. You put the deal together. You don't have to get a mortgage. You don't have to do any of that stuff. So you take your amount, and you take the amount you want. You think it's fair, and the market will tell you. I think I would definitely want, as you get bigger. This is 100K. As you get bigger, you can ask for more. So in this case, we have 10%. This is 20, and this is 50. Well, this is a no-no. We're not going to ask for 50%, because we're not taking the same responsibility on as that end user, the end investor. On a 100K return, 20K, you could get up to 20 maybe. To be sufficient. It really, again, depends on what we've done with the deal, how far we've gone. Have we found the tenant buyer, of course? Have we found the property for them? If all that's been done and everything's been vetted, you can ask for more. But if we're just offering, a qualified tenant buyer, we might ask for, 10K or even 5K for the tenant buyer, right? But if we have the tenant buyer and we have the property, because you can't calculate the profitability, without the other metrics, right? The property itself with the tenant buyer in it, calculating that. Yeah, Wilbur, absolutely, nothing wrong with that at all, really. So the question is, on a rent to own with a money partner, is it okay for the investor to use a HELOC on the property, right? You mean the property? Do you mean the property that we're investing in? Okay, so the question becomes why? What's happening there? Why are we looking at getting a HELOC on the property? For them to get their money out? Okay, so anything's possible, anything's doable, as long as we understand why we're doing it, right? So, what are we talking about here? Is the investor gets the property in their name, they get a HELOC on it, and pull equity out of the house. Is that what we're talking about, Wilbur? Wilbur, is that what we're talking about? Okay, so I can explain it to everybody. So here's the house. The investor has put up 100K. The house is worth 400K. Okay, so in this case here, there is, how much can we get in the HELOC? Probably nothing. Zero. Why? Why can't we get anything out of this property as a HELOC? Typically, we're not going to get anything out of this HELOC, right? Because this is 20% versus 80% of value, right? ARV. Or, not ARV, LTV, loan to value. Yeah, there's not enough equity. There's not enough equity. Now, if the investor puts up 200K, and the mortgage is $200K, well, the bank will consider giving you up to, a lot of institutions, $100K. Okay? But then it begs the question, why did the investor put up $200K? Now, you could do that for the numbers, which is fine, but at the end of the day, if they take out $100K, another $100K, it's actually going to cost, typically, not always, but it's going to cost more than the mortgage. Taking a line of credit, typically, you're looking at just above the mortgage rate. But sometimes it's, might be less, when mortgage rates are moving. But why would the investor put more money than they needed to do that? Is there another reason that's attracting them, Wilbert? I don't know what that means. Yes, the deal. What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Can you expand on that a bit? Just to tell me why the investor would do that, or why is that being? When you say to do the deal, I don't know what that means. What do you mean to do the deal? The investor, why would the investor need that to do that deal? To go make other deal. Okay. But why would they put more than they needed? Because the only way they're going to get a line of credit on the house is if they put more than 20%. So why would you put more than 20% to do that? He might be meaning to facilitate funds for another deal other than the primary one. Do you mean at some point down the deal? You mean like, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years into the deal? Is that what you mean? Because there's going to be no equity build up for a couple of years. That's going to be, in most cases, worth doing a line of credit. Yeah, you could work out an arrangement to be able to do that. Now, you want to make sure that the money taken out the line of credit, because you don't have control over that, is not going to eat up the profit of the deal, or you're still going to be able to be profitable as a for the investor and you to make money. And in this case, you, because if the investor has access to the line of credit, and they have control over the property, that might be a challenge if we're not, clearly concise and specific in our agreement and contract. It doesn't really make sense to put more than down so you can fund another deal. Why not just put less down on the first deal, then fund the other deal with the remaining funds? I agree. I think what he's saying is, and I could be wrong, but I think what he's saying is as equity builds up in the house, can they get a line of credit? I think that's what you mean, right, Wilbert? Because you can do that. But again, these things, I get that. Typically, though, you're not going to see a huge equity buildup over the period, right? You might see $5,000 or $10,000 over, and it depends on the mortgage. It really does, in the size of the mortgage. But how much of this are we going to, pay down per year? It really depends on your interest rate and the term of the mortgage. So, in the end of 2 years, there might be only $5,000 or $10,000 available, maybe more, depending if it's a bigger deal, for them to access. So I would probably, you could make a provision for that in your contract if you wanted to. You could do that. But you have to account for that money, right? If they take that money or have access to that money, that line of credit. Any money's taken from that line of credit is a lien against the property. So that has to be resolved before the end transaction, with the tenant buyer to happen. So as long I mean, I'm open for anything that makes sense for both parties, and as long as it's clear and concise and entry and exit in the agreement, I think is mandatory. It's paramount that we do that to ensure that, you know, there's no confusion if things don't go right. You know, what are we supposed to do, right, in this situation? So we want you to make sure that you were protected as well as the investor. You know. So in the profit, total profit, are we including cash flow, option consideration, profit from sale, and their initial investment return? Okay, so no worries, my friend. So to calculate ROI, right? You know, the easiest, you know, when you're looking at simply looking at it, you know, what we're doing is this. So let's see. The easiest way to look at it, for people to look at it, is, and especially for someone who's not really an investor but putting in the money for you, is simply saying, look, you put in 100K. At the end of the deal, you've made 50K. Doesn't matter where the money comes from. All Sarah, what you've listed there for profit, profit streams. Those are all profit streams if they actually get to them. So the option consideration really is something that we give back typically, right? So you're not going to include that as as your total number. The total number, this is net. This is net. After everything's taken care of, the investor made 50K. So if they made 50K and it took 4 years. It took 4 years to do it. They simply, the simple way to do it is to take 4 years divided by 50K, and there's your return per year, average return, which is 12.5. That's pretty much it. Now, 12.5, is that the compound interest rate? Okay, so then we only include the cash flow and the profit from the sale. So Sierra, yeah, any streams that are gonna show up at the end of it. So total profit. This is net profit after everything's calculated. After all costs are removed, whatever's left over, the net profit that we're gonna give back to the seller. The investor. That's the only numbers that matter. Wherever those streams are from, it doesn't really matter where the streams are from. That's what it's going to be, right? So if we look at a case like this one, where we're looking at 100K, and the end result is 150K, if I put 12.5, and say, if this was second. So if I took this, and this is why it's important to understand the difference, I think for us. So if you give me 100K and I compounded it at this rate, what would my end number be? If it was compounded yearly at 12.5%. Well, it wouldn't be because in this case the amount is 150K, right? So 150, right? That's what they have total. But in this one, if I did this by compound interest, the compound interest at 12.5% would be 160,000. Big difference. Everybody see that? If I compounded 100 grand at 12.5, it'd give me 160,000. If I average it based on the total net return, it's 12.5. That's going to give the person 150. Okay, does everybody see that? Okay, so, okay, good. Okay, so then we only include the cash flow and the profit from the sale. Yeah, cash flow and profit from the sale. Yeah. Oh, and, principal pay down, right?
which is going to show up in the profit for sale. So yeah, profit from sale, so the whole number, it's not going to be we bought it for this, we sold it for this. We bought it for this, we owe this, we sold it for this, this is the money we made. Yes, you're right, Sierra, yes. So profit from sale, including obviously the mortgage paydown. Because all the other metrics, let's say the non-refundable option consideration has to be given back. The rent, if we're asking for a little bit more, that the tenant buyer is asking us to take a little bit more, we agree that we're going to take a little bit more to give them at the end. That's not profit, right? That's just money that we're going to give back, that we're holding in trust, basically, for them to be able to purchase the house, because we want to develop a realistic plan for them to achieve it. So net profit's going to come from the sale. It's going to come from net operating income, month-to-month cash flow, right? That's where it's going to come from. Now, can we take more money from the cash flow if we have a sizable, or any at all, rent credits or whatever you want to call them, additional money given by the tenant buyer? Can we access that money? Well, yeah, you can. That's going to come away from your overall net profit at the end of the deal, right? We can't, that's not net operating income, cash flow, if we're taking the extra money that's being given to us. Well, that's not really, that's taking money early from the profit of the deal. Does that make sense here? So when you calculate it, when we're calculating it for the investor, the bigger number is going to look like the average, right? The bigger number is going to look like the average. Because if I look at this 100K, right? I look at the 100K and I say, well, 100K and the end result is, after 4 years is 150. What is that as a compound interest rate? Well, the compound interest rate now is not quite, 12.5. It's going to be closer to, it's going to be just under 11. So it's going to be, just under 11% is going to be the compound rate. So you can see that the average is higher than the compound rate. Does everybody understand that? Yeah, the average is easier for people to understand, because you can explain it the other way if you want. If they ask for it, you know it. So the bigger number is going to be the average for sure. Most, I can't imagine, where the average is not going to show up higher, because it's a simple average, right? So we calculate the total amount and we divide it by, the period, whatever period that is, months, years, days, whatever it is. It's going to be bigger because it's not recognizing fluctuations. It's just saying this is the beginning, this is the end, this is the average, But the assumption in this first, when you say 12.5, what it really is, for an investor, it'd be like me saying, if I invest 100, I can take 12.5% a year and leave that 100 grand in, and next year it'll make me another 12.5. And I can take the 12,500, which is what it is against the 100K, and leave the 100K and it'll make me another 12.5. That's really what the average, makes sense for, is the draw. In other words, you're not leaving the money in. And this is why compound interest becomes important, is because if somebody says to you, give me 100K and I'll give you 150, and if they say your return is, 12.5, well, if I'm giving them 100K and I got to keep it in the whole period, I don't feel like I'm getting 12.5% a year, because I have to leave the money in there, even including the profit. So if I was, if they said to me, okay, 100K, and this is a more sophisticated way of looking at investing. I'm showing you this because I want you to understand why the differences are different, how they're calculated, and what it means to you as the investor when you're putting up capital. Because, if you say to me, Sam, put in 100K, I'll give you 150, your return is 12.5. Well, if you told me, Sam, here's 100K, goes up to 12.5, so you make 12,500, and I'm allowed to take that money and leave the 100K in, and that's what you're going to give me every year, 12.5, then it's 12.5. It's 12.5. But if you're asking me to keep the 100K plus the 12.5 year over year over year, I feel like, compound interest is more relevant to me as an investor, which is going to be slightly, as we calculated, slightly lower. It's not going to be horribly lower, but, it's going to be different. I've seen some disparity with numbers before when they calculated average because the variation was pretty big. So the rule of 72 just basically says how long does it take you to double your money. So if I put in 100K, for me to, double it in 5 years, what return, what would I have to make as a return? So you take 5, that's the years, so 5 divided by 72, and that'll give you the interest, which in this case would be just over 15, right? No, it'd be under. It'd be 28, let's see, 5 into 72 is what? 12, 60, 70, so it's like 12 and change, 12%. Does everybody see that? The rule of 72? Okay, so let's do it again. Okay, so it's not exact to the penny, but it's a great calculation. It's an easy way to calculate. So let's take 100K, and as an investor, you said if I give you 100K, how long will it take me to double it? If somebody says to me, you'll double your money in 5 years. There's a couple ways to look at it. So in 5 years, it'll be 200K. Okay, 200. That's K. Okay. Does everybody follow me so far? Right? Pretty simple. 5 years. It's 200K. They're telling me I can double my money in 5 years. So then you go, okay, so 5 years, it's going to take 5 years. The guy's telling me I'm doubling my money. Okay, what's the return I need to produce, right? So the rule 72 says, if I take 5 years, oh, see, I did this wrong, my apology. That's why I'm confusing you. I'm showing you this way. So 100K, here's a simpler way. Sorry about that, I did it a more confusing way. Somebody says to you 100K and they're offering you 12%. This is the way you want to use this. Sorry about that. 100K at 12%. How long will it take me to double my money? This is the proper way. Forget about this. So 100K at 12% a year. How long will it take me to double my money? Who can tell me? What's the rule of 72 say? There you go. So the rule of 72 says, look, what you do is this. You take this number, the 12, divided by 72 divided by 12, your return, and that'll give you 6 years. Everybody understand that? So it's saying, and can someone tell me, what's this calculating, the rule of 72? Is it calculating average or compound? Zach. It's compound. So it's calculating compound. It's compunction. Compound. You spell like me. Compound. So it's saying if you're making 12% a year, if you divide that by 12 years, 6 years, right? Because 12 divided by 72 is 6 years. You'll be close to doubling your money. It's actually $197,382.27, but let's not worry about it. So it's a good, easy way to calculate, the compound interest rate. Does everybody understand? Does that make sense? That's calculating compound, rule 72. Okay, good. So everyone's clear on this now? Okay, good. All right. Any other questions before I get into something else? No, everybody's good? No questions? Okay, I want to ask a question. Okay, I want everybody to do this for homework for next week. Okay, I want everyone to identify the number 1, 1, 2, and 3 most exciting activities for you in real estate. What are the 3 most motivated or exciting? You don't need, if you have more than 3, you might have 4, 5, but rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when I say that, I mean I'm a 10 here. I'm a 7 here out of 10. I'm a 6 here, 5 here, whatever it is. The main thing I wanna look at is the activities that you're 7 and above. Okay, because I'd like you to spend more time on those activities than anything else. Now, how do we do that? Right? How are we going to do that? So, this is you. Okay? So the question is, what activities do you love to do? What activities do you love to do? Okay? Is it analyzing property? Is it, finding the property? Is it negotiation? Is it contracts? What is it, the top 3 things that you love, not, that you can do, that you love doing? Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? So this is you. These are the 3 activities that I love. 1, 2, 3. I love them. I'll always have energy to do these 3 things. They're exciting to me. Even when I'm tired, I enjoy doing these activities. Okay? And if you want a good example is I might come home, and let's say I've been doing stuff, I've been, whatever. I've been working all day, and I come home and my beautiful wife says to me, can you go clean up the garage? It's a project you've been talking about doing for a while. You have some time, go clean out the garage. And I say, I'm thinking in my head, I'm kind of tired. Do I really want to do this? I don't know if I have the energy. As I'm contemplating this, and I get a phone call, and it's from my brother. My brother says, "Hey, Sam, I just got us, 2 passes to the local golf course. Do you have time to go play golf?" What happens? Well, because it's golf and I love golf, what happens immediately? All of a sudden I have the energy. All of a sudden I have the motivation to take action and do activity. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about? Right? It's so true, yeah. So what I want you to identify is the activities, your phone call, right? Would it be, obviously in this case, maybe for some of you golf, but somebody calls you up, one of your partners, your team members says, come see a house. And that's something you love to do. Even though it's been a long day, you're tired, it's something you love to do, so you go look at the house. Or somebody sends you a deal and they say, it's the beginning of the deal and they ask you to analyze numbers. And you know how to analyze numbers, you get it, but you don't enjoy it. So maybe after a long, tired day, you're not hip on doing that activity, right? So maybe you delay it or you procrastinate. Now I want to make this clear. This is my opinion, but it's held true in my life and working with students. You'll always be procrastinating on activities that you don't like to do. It doesn't matter what type of person you are. If you're an individual that is being asked to do an activity that you don't like or you're not excited about, typically it's going to be a slower point to execution, right? The process of execution. Now, there are individuals that are high performance, high result individuals that can overcome that. But even in that, those individuals will show some sort of delay. In my experience, I've seen some sort of delay versus something they're super excited about. So what I want you to do is I want you to identify in your business the things that you love to do. Okay? Is it running numbers? Is it, finding listings? What is it that you love to do in the business? Okay? Is it learning even? Is it teaching? The concepts? What is it that you love to do? And then why are we doing this? Who can tell me? Why are we doing this? So list of love, we create this list of love activities, right? Yep, you can identify your strengths, or at least areas that you're willing to put the energy towards to become strong at. Yep, find your strengths or what you want to be strong at. Yep. Priority, yep. Focus, good. Excellent, excellent. Developing our why, yep. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Identify where we need other people on our team to assist us in being successful. Absolutely. Determination, these are all correct, right? Determining, where we need help in our team. Yes, this is all right. So I want you to start looking at yourself as one piece of the puzzle. What puzzle do I love to do? And build your business that way. I want you to build your business, with you being, happy to do what you do. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time. I want you to be happy, okay? So to be happy and productive, we need you to focus on what you're good at, okay? I want you to realize and identify what you're good at, and then what we're going to do is we're going to download through team members, through partners, right? Partners, we're also gonna do with, and this is something to consider, is virtual assistants or just assistants. Okay, I want you to stop as much as possible at this point. I want you to stop forcing yourself to do stuff that you don't want to do that you're not doing anyways. Does that make sense? Okay, so. And this is what's interesting about this exercise. Some of you might have been aware that, as we're going through this and we're talking about this, you become aware that you almost feel a little bit of excitement in yourself. Because the idea of focusing on activities that you love gets you excited. And you feel like there's things that I really like about this business, parts of the business that maybe I don't get too excited about. I'd love it if someone else took care of that. You'll feel that excitement. You'll be aware of that excitement. Because of that, you'll do the activity and identify where you're strong, and we can start to recognize building a team on it, okay? So I want everyone to focus on this week. I want you to identify that, okay? Now, while you're doing that, as much as you can, I don't want you to overthink it or worry about it, but I want you to spend the time on it. I want you to, including in that, I want you to list all the things that you need done to run your business. All of it. Okay? All the activities so far to run biz. I don't want you to say to yourself, well, Sam, I don't know all the things that I need to run my business. Doesn't matter. What have you identified as important to your business up until this point? Does everyone understand what I'm asking? I don't want you to be anxious or worried about this activity. I want you to be excited about it. So identify all the things that you have learned to this point or understand to be important to your business. Then I want you to identify what you're most excited about in this process of doing your business. Okay? Does that make sense? All right? Just list it. Don't worry if you're missing a piece or you go, oh, is there more I have to think about and more? I don't want you to stress out about it. I want you to create the most comprehensive list that you can do, right? So spend time on it. And then I want you to identify all the activities on that list that you get excited about. Okay? Can everyone commit to that for next week? So here's the deal. We're going to go one by one for the next couple weeks. I'm going to spend some time on taking person by person, okay? So once you've completed that, okay, I want you to send it to me on Tuesday. So you have till Tuesday. Don't send it to me Tuesday, till Tuesday. Send me all on Tuesday. I'll have everybody's on Tuesday. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to pick somebody. And we're going to bring their list up to the group. And then we're going to walk through the group. And we're going to help them as a group develop their business. Okay? Can we do that? I'm a little bit excited about it for you. I really am. So we're going to develop the business that way. And what we might find out is some of us have different attributes and qualities and things that we get excited about, and that maybe there's somebody on the call that you want to partner with because there's an area where you're weak, you don't enjoy, and they love doing it. And we want to make sure that everybody's in a place that keeps them happy, motivated, and excited, okay? And if things aren't getting done, we need to recognize that, and we need to plug that hole up, correct? I don't want you to bottleneck yourself by forcing yourself to do activities that you're struggling with or you're not happy with, okay? Because that can stop your business cold, okay? So we'll go one by one, and then what will happen typically is when we go through this exercise one by one, you'll want to update your list because you'll learn, oh, I didn't think about that, or you know what, I do like that. So what we will do is we'll go one or two by, as many as we can do on the call. We'll help develop the business as a group, what we can do. We'll do some solutions for that individual. And then you might find out you want to update your own list. You can send them to me again next Tuesday. If it's the same one, send me the same one Tuesday. Send me the same one Tuesday. And I want to spend at least, I'm allotting at least 30 minutes for that. And we'll get faster at it as we get better at it as a group to start helping people develop the little things in the business that need to be done. We need them done, and we want to focus only on the activities that we love to do, and we need to allocate and move that activity somewhere. It has to be taken care of. There's no way around it, right? A lot of people fail in business because they either try to do things that they're not good at, they're not educated about, they're not, mentored. Mentoring is so important. Having somebody there to show you, and it's not just, show you exactly what to do, but when you make a mistake, why you made the mistake so you don't repeat it. And, what you need to do to make it right, what next time. So we want to utilize and maximize our time and our energy, and we need to make sure that we take care of all the things in our business. And you know what might be good if you'd like to do it, let's just add this. So at least top three, 1, 2, 3 things I love, and then I want you to do 3 worst of things that I hate. 1, 2, and 3, okay? The 3 worst things I hate about, doing, things that I hate it. I hate it. I want you to identify if you have 3, 1, 2, 3 things that you just hate doing, okay? Because there are activities sometimes that you hate doing. Let's knock those out first, right? Let's knock those out first, okay? Any questions? Well, Danny brings up a good point. Danny's asking, how specific should it be? Should it be the rent to own, buy, fix, and hold? I'll tell you this, and I'm a big believer in this. Danny, if you want to do the work and identify it that specifically, that's you'll get more specific help. Absolutely, and this is a great question for everybody. The more you get involved in this activity, the better it's going to be for you. So if your business focus is rent to own, this is where, and I want you to, obviously look at a business model that you get excited about. So if you get excited about rent to own, use that as at least your initial model. Then you can apply it to the other ones. But stick to the activity that you're most excited about as a strategy. So that's a great question, Danny. Absolutely. The more you give, the more you get. That's the rule of life that I've experienced. I didn't make that up. That's just something that transcends us. I really believe that. So I want you to spend the time this week focusing on that. Okay, I really want to, because I want to make sure your business is functioning at the highest performance, and I want to make sure that we're not getting lost in the minutia of our business, and it's holding us up. Okay, I want us to hit our goals, our financial goals. So let's do a gut check. Let's do a stop and look around moment to where we are, where we want to go, and what needs to be done to get there. Okay. All right, I'm excited for this activity. I've been thinking about it a lot over the week, and I feel like, it's something that's important for us to do as a group. I think we'll get so much out of it as a group, and individually, to ensure that we're successful in our business. And I strongly anticipate that many of you will see that maybe there's someone on the call that's a good fit for my business, regardless of where they are in the country. We live in a wonderful time and age where you can reach out and talk to somebody, Skype with them. It's not a challenge anymore. So we're very, very lucky to be investing in this time period. Okay, good. All right. Any questions? If you're good, type in yes, because we're going to wrap up the call. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Okay. So I believe that Marina's going to set up a thing for. Thanks. I appreciate that. We're gonna set up a WhatsApp for the meeting, and the meeting in. No problem, Mohammed. Glad to see you there. The meeting in Vancouver. So please. Okay, good. Okay, good. That's good, Albert. Annie, good. Okay, so we'll look that over. Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see all you guys that make it. That's great. And those of you that are on the other side of the country. So Marina, do this. Yeah. Do this. Set it up. Send me an email, Marina, when it's done, and I'll jump in there. Okay. I'll jump in there. So, but I really appreciate you taking care of that, and so we can organize something, because I really, really want to take advantage of. I really want to take advantage of us being together, on that weekend. And when we do it in Toronto, the rest of you, and those of you that are even going to this one, we'll do it again. I promise. Okay. It's fun to be together and remember each other, right? So I appreciate that, Marina, and I look forward to seeing everybody there. Okay. So I'm going to wrap up the call. I'm going to thank everybody for coming up. Please, obviously, do what you say and say what you do. Stick to the commitment of running this exercise. It's going to be very valuable for you and your business, and I want you to be happy and excited about the business long term. So I want you to recognize what you're good at, what you love, what you're excited, what you hate, so we can solve that problem and build our business as quickly as possible with the right people involved. Okay. That's great, Marina. I can see that's awesome. That's a great skill, and it's great that you get excited about that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's right. So Marina's gonna set up a WhatsApp group, and see you all there. Yeah. So Marina, how do they get to be part of that group, real quick, before we close up the call?